As you may know, I'm not big on the fitness industry's message of do one more or more is better. It's cold, it's windy, it's blustery, it's snowy, it's gray, visibilities maybe a half a mile. These are the days it's hard to get out the door. So one more is the ticket today. But since it's hard to get out the door, you know what that means, right? It's going to be one of those magical runs. Today we're going to dive into when more is better. So let's tie them up, let's lace them up, let's get out the door.
You've heard me say it, my athletes hear me say it, more is not always better, better is better. But as soon as we have a philosophy, as soon as we have an opinion, we become a contradiction, a hypocrite. So today's video is just to get you thinking about your own running and when maybe, possibly, more is better. Hoping to get a nice long climb in today. We'll see what the trail conditions are like. It snowed just a little bit overnight, but it's super warm. It's almost 30 degrees, which tends to make the snow really, really slick and not great on the trail, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. Also, I'm super excited. Going back to Hard Rock as a coach. Just got an email today from an athlete from Switzerland who, after 10 years of lottery submission to Hard Rock 100, he got in. So looks like we're going to be attacking Hard Rock. So let's just start right out with Hard Rock. More is better. Hey, if you're looking to jump up into race distance, sometimes more is going to be better. More volume, more consistency. And if you're jumping up to a more challenging course such as Hard Rock, one of the hardest ones in the world, more vertical is going to be good. Specificity, right? If you're looking to make that jump to the ultramarathon distance, you might think more is better from a mile standpoint or a volume standpoint, from a training standpoint. But maybe more speed development is what you need to get faster and then apply it to endurance and doing longer stuff than you're used to. This is something that's not always talked about or not always realized, that if you're going to run 100 miles or 50 miles, it's common sense to think, well, you got to run and increase your longer run, but you might not be fast enough to be able to run the race at an appropriate level of effort. So speed development is crucial in your development as an ultra runner, as an ultra marathoner. And with this, maybe you need more contradiction in your running and in your training. Maybe instead of thinking you need more strength, maybe you need more muscle activation. Most times I see runners, hey, they're strong enough, they're just not utilizing muscles very well. But they keep trying to build more strength, but they need more neuromuscular strength, more muscle activation, using the muscles they have in a better way. More contradiction. And where this contradiction really might be shining its light is in what you're doing. If you're a veteran runner, been running for a long time, maybe you need to be doing more of everything you're not doing. Maybe you need to shock the system a little bit. Not sure how well you can see this, but we got a little avalanche. You can see how much snow we have, and that slope just let loose, and just a little avalanche. About 30 feet from the road. Sometimes you gotta let go of what you're used to doing, of that routine, and let loose and have an avalanche of all things that you don't do. Shock the system. We often get stuck in our routine of what we're good at, what we're always used to doing. But once our body adapts to that and we keep doing it, there's no longer any adaptation, no longer any progress. We must shock the system. If you're used to doing long distances all the time, take the winter, do some 5Ks, do some 10Ks, do some shorter stuff. Do a mile race, do an indoor race. You often hear me say, view your running as a lifelong pursuit, as an art form, as a craft where you're always looking to find ways to get better. So one thing we all can have more of is patience. All right, here's my climb. We're gonna see how conditions are. It's not looking too great. Looks like we've got a kill, probably a deer kill up there. We got a lot of ravens. I don't know. You know what? It's not great, but since we're talking patience, so I'm just gonna have patience and climb up the trail. 1 foot at a time, and not resist the conditions. As soon as we resist the situation we're in, the tougher it gets, the more challenging it gets. Letting go lets things flow. And it's getting super warm. So it's gonna be the second switchback. We've got a kill up there. Right now I can see 4 ravens having a little breakfast. So we're gonna go up and see what that is as we climb to the top today. And time to ditch the hood. It's warming up. Already was warm. Since conditions aren't great, footing's not great, it's not very hard packed. We had a lot of new snow, so that's to be expected. I'm just changing my expectations of what this workout was gonna be. I was hoping for a little bit more hard pack and being able to kind of get into a steady sub-threshold type of wattage run. But I'm changing my expectations, changing my purpose. So now it becomes more of shorter steps, and now it's my opportunity where every step becomes strength training. Keeping things underneath me, high cadence, natural running shoe. Now I can really strengthen my feet, which segues into what can we do more of? One, changing our philosophy of what true strength is, of where we get our strength as runners. How we use our feet directly affect how we use the rest of our body. And so we all can train our feet more effectively and with more purpose. So every step can be super, super frustrating right now, or I can let go just like that avalanche and see this as my opportunity to make every step a form of strength training. So maybe we even look to train our feet every step of our day by using a more natural shoe throughout our day, where again, every step are training those feet. And now it's getting really narrow, really deep, and the effort's increasing. So now I'm going from what maybe my initial focus was straining the feet to now just a lot of strength with vertical. So again, changing it up, shocking our body, shocking our legs, shocking what we're asking our body to do. It's so good. If I had the expectations to run this well, I'd be so frustrated right now, but I'm going with it. And it's wonderful strength. Change your mindset more. Change your expectations more. It will reward you more. Woo! Off the trail. And I just post-holed. That's how deep the snow is. Up to almost my TFL. Woo! There you go again. All right, right around this corner should be where that kill is. And it's really hard to run without really focusing on each foot strike. Oh, and these people turned around because they're post-holing too. But I'm gonna keep going. I gotta at least see what this kill's like. Let's see. What? Whoa. The other leg. Thought the trail underneath this new snow would be packed down enough, so you gotta find it. Whoa. I don't know. Whoa. All right. Well, I went into this with the idea of I'd see how conditions were and make a decision. And I got about 500 feet of climbing in. So I think I'm gonna turn around with all this post-holing and I'm gonna go back to the road and finish up this long run. Just like my footing and the conditions, this video is gonna be all over the place. So roll with it. Back to some race strategy. What can you do more of? Just like I'm continuing to change my expectations and how I'm climbing through these conditions, we need to do more of reading the terrain while we're doing our ultra marathons. What I mean by that is I have my athletes practice reading the terrain every minute of the time based on their heart rate, so they're either making a decision when to run or when to hike. It's never just one decision. It's multiple, continuous, frequent decisions of reading the terrain. You have a little uphill where you go hike for a few steps and then it flattens out a little bit and you run for a few steps and then you hike for a few steps. You're always making ongoing decisions. So doing more of reading the terrain and not falling into just one decision and sticking with a hike or a run or trying to run it. And with this more conscious effort on race strategy, we can go back to my last video on downhills. We can look to do more downhill training, especially for ultras and trail races, because not only is it wonderful strength for all runners, but it could make or break your race. So look to infuse more downhill training into your regimen. So as I make my way down to the road for more flat, easy running, if you're doing Moffatone and you've done it for a long time, okay, your body's adapted. look to change it up. We can still accomplish the Maffetone strategy without always needing to run at a low heart rate. We can infuse pickups and hill repeats, other very potent and very important types of strength, while we're still doing the so-called Maffetone approach. If we look at one of Maffetone's famous athletes, Mark Allen, Ironman triathlete, one of the best Ironman triathletes ever. You look at his training program. He did Maffetone early in the season, and then he went through very, very hard, challenging workouts and training phases leading into his race. So he was not doing a Maffetone approach all the time. And you could argue that the times he did the easy Maffetone effect, what it was doing was giving him recovery from the previous year. So do more of evaluating what you're doing and why you're doing it, and have purpose around your doing it based on how your body's adapted or needs to adapt. You might not always be accomplishing what you think you are. Back on the road. So if we go back to Mark Allen a minute, the Ironman triathlete, one of the characteristics of why I believe he was so successful for so long, not only was he known for his Ironman wins, but for his longevity and a high level of performance. And one key aspect of this, I believe, played a key role, is that he did not race a lot. He did not over race. He focused on one race, and that was Hawaii Ironman. And so I think there's a big lesson here. I think we could do more periodized training throughout the year and less races, especially when we're talking ultra marathons. I think so many pro athletes over race, and that either cuts into their performance or their overall longevity in the sport. So it doesn't look like it, but this is super slick. So now, if I have bad form, either by reaching out I'm gonna slip, or sweeping my legs back behind me with too much of a kick, I'm gonna spin out. So now nature is my best coach, and we all can focus on our form more. I've been doing this for a really long time. I'm always focused on my form, in a not bad way. It's just awareness. Athleticism is awareness. We all can have an elite mindset. And I feel I've worked with a lot of elite athletes, and what really truly makes them elite relative to their peers is their mindset, their focus on doing things well and right. All these are things that we all can have from an elite standpoint that can really help us be better in our own right. Being our best is just a choice. So I think we need to give ourselves the permission to be the runner we truly want to be within our own self, and compare less with others, because it's that comparison that gets us into the mindset of, oh, I'm not worthy. And it's really just a defense mechanism to keep us safe. Our brains are wired to keep ourselves safe. It's human nature to keep ourselves safe and not put ourselves in a fearful situation. I'm not talking a physical fearness, but more of a mental fear. That drives us. So if we're keeping ourselves safe, that's giving fear a lot of power. And I feel we all can understand that fear is necessary. Fear is going to be there. Fear doesn't go away to the elites. They all have fear. They just understand that it's a necessary part of the process that drives them towards what they want to achieve. So doing more awareness around how fear dictates your life, your running, and to realize that fear is necessary. You hear that moniker, that marketing moniker, No fear. I think that's BS. We want more fear. Saying no fear implies that fear is going to go away. And that's what gets people frustrated and confused. Fear is going to be there. There's no way to get rid of fear. So we need to work with it. We need to understand that it's going to be there, but all that fear is based on stories that we've developed within our mind that aren't true. So yes, fear is going to be there, but what drives fear 99.9% of the time is not true. Start to listen to your talking, your self-dialogue, and understand that all that fear, all that talk is really not true. It's just a story you made of yourself. So to end this, what is the most performance enhancing thing that we can all do? It's free. It doesn't take any physical effort. It's something that we can do in the morning, anywhere, anytime, that's scientifically proven to improve your performance. And that's visualization. That's daydreaming. We've become conditioned to think daydream is a bad thing. We all can do more visualization, creating a movie in our mind of what we want out of our life and out of our running. So look to do more visualization. Create what you want, see what you want, smell what you want, hear what you want. Create it in your head because your brain sees it no differently. And that applies to race strategy, watching yourself race the day before, the week before, or just see your life, how you want to live it. I'm gonna keep moseying on. Thanks for watching, as always. Ted, thanks for your comment today on YouTube. Appreciate it. Over and out from Jackson Hole. Over and out from Born to Run World. See you guys next time.